What is going on, everyone? Once again, we are back. This is episode number 16 of the Nutrient Health Project podcast. I am the ever-present ball of energy known as Andrew Frisch. This is the currently introverted, as she said. She's feeling a little introverted today. This is my beautiful wife, Holly Frisch. Holly, say hello to everyone.
Hello.
Hello. So, we are with episode 16 and episode number 17 as well. We're going to introduce a shorter format. I hear some people going, thank God, because we've had some hour and a half podcasts and plus, but I know they're not the 3 or 4 hour ordeals that other podcasts have. But we're going to introduce a shorter format, and since we are nutrient health and fitness, I thought it would be a good idea to call these micronutrients.
Isn't that cute?
I mean, come on now. So you can't hate that. Maybe we'll call the longer ones macronutrients. I don't know. But so episode number 16, Nutrient Health Project podcast. This is a micronutrient, and we're going to talk about time. So this is the time micronutrient, episode number 16. So this all is coming. It's more of a motivational episode, right? Obviously, if you're brand new to the podcast, our goal here is basically we're covering training, we're covering nutrition, we're covering diet and lifestyle, we're covering mindset, we're covering motivation, we're covering anything and everything to essentially make you better. One of the working kind of catchphrases of the current podcast is better by every means. So whatever that looks like for you. So today we're going to talk about time. And how this all stemmed from hearing people saying, like, I just don't have time to, XYZ, whatever it might be. I just don't have time to exercise. I just don't have time to stop by the gym. I just don't have time to food prep. That's a real common one I hear a lot of. I should not have had a soda before the video. Oh, that's disgusting. I apologize for that. Maybe I'm not going to edit it out. We're going real. We're going real and raw, burps and all. So, but the whole thing of like, I don't have time to, I made a Facebook post about this a couple days ago, basically saying like, if you say I don't have time to, it's like, no, like your priorities are not in order. It's not a matter of time. And I think some of the things that we say today hopefully will ring true to you, whether they motivate you and you're already currently motivated. Maybe you can share this with someone who thinks that like, I just don't have time to do this, whatever it might be. But this also stems from a conversation that Holly and I had because, like I said, ball of energy here and slightly, more introverted her, she's able to get to sleep fairly quickly most evenings, whereas I have that kind of a hard time winding down. So sometimes those different energy levels can conflict, and I'm wired and still going, and she just wants to go to sleep. And sometimes I can come off as like a little extra, and it needs to be like kind of bring it down. So we were having a talk, and I was trying to explain why I was so hyped up on something because, again, our day starts at 3, but my energy level starts, it probably first thing out of the bed, it probably starts at like a 5, yeah. But within like 20 to 30 minutes, it's at like a 9 or a 10. I mean, there are many times about like 3:45 in the morning, and I apologize to you because I'm already talking so damn much.
Yeah.
So we had this talk, and it basically, at first it didn't come across correct. Like I could tell I kind of upset her even, and I don't like upsetting her. Like she's everything to me. She's my queen. She's royalty to me. One client said that she was celestial. Amy, if you're listening to this, thank you for that. And that still rings true. She is everything to me. So I had to reword things, and I had to explain why I was so, not just in general motivated, but motivated that particular evening. And some of the things that we're going to talk about is going to go kind of back to what I told her. So, let's just dive in. So basically, like when someone says, I don't have time to, the ironic thing to that is like literally every human being on this planet, whether you're, a rich, affluent person living in Beverly Hills, if you're struggling in a rural area or inner city area, if you're in the plains of Africa, if you're in Antarctica, wherever the hell you might be, literally the only thing that we all have in common is time. That's all. Like, some of us have money, some of us don't. Some of us have clothing, some of us don't. Some of us have food and shelter, some of us don't. But we all have time. So to say I don't have time is like one of the most incorrect sentences you can say, because that's literally all that all of us have is time. So if you start to think about it like that, that can kind of help to shift your mindset. And I, even like right now with me being a ball of energy, I'm trying to bring myself down a little bit and calm down, because I mean, God, it was probably like a 90-minute, like, I say talk, but it was like a monologue of me just explaining where I was coming from with this, because I get so pumped up over this shit. Because one of the things I tell Holly on a pretty regular basis is like, I'm haunted, right? Like, we tease about like, who's working out harder, and like, I'm just, I'll always work out harder than you because I'm haunted. Like, you just don't understand it. And how much do you love when I say I'm haunted, Holly?
Oh, so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I had to explain that, like, when I say that I'm haunted because I feel like I've wasted so much time in my life, right? If you've listened to any of the episodes, if you've followed us on Facebook at all, you know that, like, I'm you might not know I'm 44, but I'm 44, she's 28, so she hasn't had the ability to waste much time. But, like, I feel like I've wasted all of my 20s and 30s. Well, I should take that back. I used to feel like I wasted all of my 20s and 30s. And I started to kind of realize something that helped me change that story of like, man, I just pissed away my 20s and 30s and, going all Eeyore, like, oh, woe is me on it. One of the things that helped me kind of flip that mindset, and this is going to be an episode where you're going to have to jump in. I'll try and stop and here and there, but like, if I get on one of these things, I just go. Mm-hmm. I realized that I had to go through the trials and tribulations of, drugs and alcohol and eating disorders and just all of that shit that I put myself through for my 20s and 30s to become the person that I am now. Because me at 18, 19, 20, 25, 30, all I cared about was playing basketball and essentially, getting high at night. And it was like a recurring theme of like, live healthy for 80% of the day and then get really unhealthy for the last 20% of the day. And go to bed over and over and over, just hating it. And I learned things. I learned about training. I learned about nutrition. I learned about mental toughness and behavior change and all of these different things as I was trying to fix myself along the way. So going through those trials are kind of like, I had to do that to become who I am today. Going through those trials and tribulations of like depression and like just not wanting to be here. I mean, I had my suicide planned out like 2 different times, and like, I just knew to not give up, to keep going, because things were coming down the line right by my side here. My beautiful, amazing wife, and life is just completely upside down for the better. I knew to keep going. But those struggles taught me like mental toughness. They taught me humility. And if you would have asked me back then, I wouldn't have said like I'm not a humble person. I always thought I was humble, but I realized that like I would like brag on something I did in a workout to make myself feel better, not to make someone else feel smaller, if that makes sense. But it's still like, you still have to learn that humility. And that's something that I see a lot of people who are stuck, especially in the fitness space. They are lacking humility. A lot of people are we get in this because we kind of like being the center of attention. And they lack that humility. So I had to learn that. I had to learn like gratitude and love and determination, because I would start things over and over and over and then just let it go or just give up on it because it wasn't happening as fast as my impatient ass wanted to go. That's another thing I learned, was patience. So again, like, I realized as I was doing it that I could be so much further ahead now at 44 years of age if I had, growing up, like, the stage was set for me to be doing better things in life. I was, accelerated schooling and just like picked things up really quickly. And then just somewhere around like 18, 19, I just got distracted and started kind of numbing my brain and shutting it up with, at the time, weed. And then that led into alcohol and, just, again, pills, everything I've talked about in the past. And I could look at it like, I wasted so much time going through that, and I could be so much further. But again, like, I had to go through those things to become who I am now, because the person I am now is the person I need to be for the things that we're trying to become and we're trying to get, if that makes sense. So like, if you think of like people who are, in like not well off situations and they win the lottery, more often than not, like, I mean, some of them even say like they wish they never won the lottery, because people come from the woodwork and just like, hey, can I have some money? But the other side of it is like, a lot of them end up going back to bankrupt because they didn't learn the skill set to become the person who earned the millions of dollars. It was just handed them.
Too.
Right. Yes, please, expound because I don't want to talk the whole time on this podcast. So
no, just like someone I feel like who can manage that money, knows how to invest it, knows how to save, knows how, not to be impulsive. And they've learned that, if they started with nothing and they learned all those lessons and they became a billionaire or a millionaire or any kind of successful business owner, they went through those lessons to get where they are, and now they know how to manage their money and their business and everything else. And if you were just handed all this bunch of money, you're still the same person, but you don't know those lessons, and you could just fly right through it and you're worse off than you were before.
Yep.
So.
100%. So, and the final kind of point on me finally righting the ship and going in the right direction, I told Holly, is like, one of the things, again, I'm haunted because I've wasted my 20s and 30s, right? But no, it's not wasted. It's actually, okay, I had to become the person who I am now. I had to learn those lessons. But another thing is like, well, and this might strike a chord with you because you realize like time is all you have, but then like nobody knows how much time we have. So it can be very easy to be like, well, I don't know how much time I have, so screw it. I'm just going to live this hedonistic lifestyle, and I'm going to drink, or I'm going to play video games, or I'm going to just, not give a shit about the things, my health. I'm not going to care. I'll never forget like working as a server, having somebody, helping me like cook up the meals and everything. And like the chefs were always really good about helping me with the meals. And I remember one chef said like, you eat all of this healthy food and you work out and everything, and you're going to walk out of here one day and you're going to get hit by a car. And it was just like that whole concept of like, okay, number one, thanks. But number two, like, why you don't know, right? that might not ever happen to me, but you don't know. And kind of on that thing, I told Holly, like, while I was trying to get through that, and I had these goals and dreams in my head, I was like, well, what if I do start doing the things and I forego the pleasures of a hedonistic lifestyle of drinking and eating foods and all that, and then like I still fall short and I never reach that goal. And it's like I told Holly, I don't want my legacy to be that I finally got my stuff together and realized how important time is. That's the fundamental moral of this video. But I still just never reached it. And I realized that like, even if I'm on the right path and I still fall short, I will die happy because I knew that I fixed the shitty stories I was telling myself. I fixed the bad habits that were holding me back. I was on the right path. And again, none of us know how much time we have, but it's like would you rather spin your wheels and just kind of wait for the Grim Reaper to come? Or would you rather like say, I'm going to run, and if it catches me, it catches me. Excuse me, if it catches me, it catches me, but I'm gone. Like, I'm not hanging around. And that's, I think, where I was trying to shift that perspective. Excuse me. So like, that's one reason when people say like YOLO, you only live once. That's just such a destructive, depressing way to live this life, because you only have so much time. So why would you just be like, I don't know how much time I got, so I'm just going to keep pissing it away, right? And then more often than not, you're going to piss it away, and you're going to get to a point where it's like, maybe I shouldn't piss it away. And then you clearly are going to have even less of it left. So I don't think the thought of like, I don't know how much time I have left is a reason to say YOLO. I think realizing that you don't know how much time you have left is a reason to 100% completely and absolutely stop wasting every single precious second, right? Get your mind right. Think about, again, what was it that Hermosi said in the podcast?
He was talking about how it makes him a little sad to know that like he only has so much time in this life, and he's never going to get to do all the things that he wants to do. And like me and Annie have talked about that plenty of times, of all these things that we want to do and places we want to go, and like there's only a finite amount of time, only one life we can live, and so you should put your whole heart into it.
Yep. And there's, I think there's a short story. I think it's in a book called Some. I haven't read the story, but I've heard it, like others talk about it. It's like something to the effect of, there are like this. I'm totally butchering this, I'm sure, but basically the point of it is like there's a race of people that like can live forever. And like some of the people in that race, they take advantage of it and they learn everything they can. You know, maybe they put 100 years into whatever computer programming, 100 years into playing the piano, and they just become like prodigious, just amazing talents at all of this. And then other people are like completely just, I mean, I got forever, and they're just like wasting time away. So fundamentally, it's like, which type of person are you? And I think that answers a lot. So are you a YOLO, or are you hey, every second is precious and I don't know how many of them I have? So, and part of it can help you, like one of the things you can do that'll help you use more of your time wisely, is I should not drink a Zevia before I'm saying like my throat is scratchy and I'm burping. One of the things that you can do is identify stories that you tell yourself that hold you back. So, and I told Holly I was going to put her on blast for this and see if she came up with anything. But with me, the stories I was telling myself, I've already covered a couple of them. What if I start trying to do it and I fall short? Man, I really enjoy like the feeling of being high and drunk and in this hedonistic lifestyle. And it's, one thing that we've talked about too is a change, even if it's for the good and it's a clear step up and it's going to improve your life dramatically, it's still scary as shit. And it's like that phrase of like, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't, right? So it's like, are you telling yourself stories? If somebody else points them out too, and you'll know it's a story that doesn't serve you if somebody points it out to you and you get super self-defensive. If your defense is like, whoa, like you're wrong, you don't know me, you don't know what I'm talking about. So identifying those stories. So turning it over to you, you've had about 20 or 30 minutes to think about it. Do you have any stories?
Well, kind of like something that you and I have recently talked about. I don't know if anyone knows on here, maybe not, but I love art. I love drawing. I always have since I was a kid. I love music, drawing, painting, everything. And kind of growing up, I just thought like I can't do that for a job and be broke. I can't, that's not going to provide a great living. And then other stories since then, it's like, well, I don't have time to do that. Like my full-time job takes up a lot of that time, and then we work out, and then we're trying to better ourselves and trying to get plenty of sleep, and like I don't have time to even draw anymore. Or, I can't do that because maybe I'm good at this one type of art, but I don't know how to draw people or landscapes or things like that. So all these stories that I've built up around it, and Andy and I recently talked about this, like, and that we'll talk about some more, is like if you could, maybe I don't have an hour, 2 hours to put into it each day, but I can do 5 minutes a day, or I can get one little piece of art done a week, and that would move me more towards my goals. And so that's, a thing that I'm actually putting into practice this week. So
it's better to be consistently good than occasionally great.
Right.
Right. It goes back to that thing I heard from Nick Baer. So, but yeah, it's and like Holly just said, and this is something that we had put in the notes, like if all you can do is spare 5 minutes a day, and if we're both super busy, and I know I sure as hell can spare 5 minutes to do something. So if all you can spare is 5 minutes a day, if you do the math, 5 minutes a day, 365 days a year, that actually equals 1,825 minutes a day. And if you divide that into hours, that gives you about 30 hours a year that you can put into some additional skill, right? Of just, if you want to learn keyboard and you have a keyboard in front of you and you have 30 hours to just sit there and focus on it, you're probably going to get a little bit better at the keyboard, right? Or 30 hours on improving your eating habits or whatever the thing is. So 30 hours it's like 30.4 hours, I think, a year if you just do 5 minutes a day. And if 5 minutes is all you can do, that's 5 minutes better than zero, right? So obviously as you do more time, that gives you more ability. And I think that by realizing how precious time is and then identifying the stories that you have and eliminating those stories, you can then prioritize. And when you take your priorities and you marry them to time, that's how you take action every single day, right? And a big thing that's not on our notes, but I remember it now as we're talking about it, like I get out of bed, with my ass is on fire, like motivated, right? Because it's just, I have things like we're doing this podcast, right? And I'm trying to hurry up and take the notes for the podcast so we can get on here and talk with some level of organization, believe it or not. But as I'm taking notes, like I feel, because we have a pretty good connection, I feel her energy levels going, brrr. So I'm like trying to hurry up and get these things so we can get this and get it all posted. And then like I'm getting, like, I'm excited about recording this, right? And I'm sure it's coming across in the audio or video if you're watching this. So go find us on YouTube, by the way, if you're not already subscribed to us. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I think we're at like 670 or something like that. It's like just below 700, but I need to actually put effort in time, and I need to prioritize my YouTube growth. I made up a new word. So yeah, last thing, and we'll keep this as brief of a micronutrient. This is the biggest micronutrient out there. But the last thing I want to say, because I think as you realize how important time is and how precious it is, then you can start to, and again, like with me, my ass being on fire, motivated to try and do these things, it's not hard for me to be like, wow, I've been on Facebook for 10 minutes. I've been on Instagram for 30 minutes. I've been scrolling on Reddit for 20 minutes. I identify that because it's like, what are you doing? It's like I have to literally, like a child, smack my own hand and, like, no, like put the phone down, go do something constructive, take that one step today to go do something. So I think one of the biggest time wasters that we all do is consuming other people's material. And I'm saying that as you're right now consuming our material, but I think the difference is that our material is aimed at lifting you up, at moving you forward, at helping you, again, identify things that are holding you back, whether it's, again, food, nutrition, diet, blah, 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 right? We're trying to lift you up. There's a difference between like listening to motivational or informational podcasts or videos, or reading a book that helps you gain a skill set, right? Or like sitting and binging a Netflix show.
Right.
If you've watched all of Stranger Things, but you've let yourself down in some other area, like, time isn't the problem. Your priorities are the problem. The fact that you're consuming material that's not doing anything to revitalize you, re-energize you, to lift you up, that's the problem. Mm-hmm. So and like Holly can identify with this, like she said, like with her art, she's extremely talented when it comes with the art side of things. And that's not me just saying it because I'm her husband. She is bananas with any bit of artwork. Every birthday card and anniversary card that I've gotten from her, it's like I want to like turn it around and sell it because I know it's this beautiful special thing that she gave to me, but I'm like, Jesus, this is amazing. So with that in mind, and like this, like the podcast and the writing that I do, and even like the time that I put into like make a simple Facebook post that right now might end up with like 10 or 15 likes, or if I'm really lucky, like 30 likes, I that's creating, and I enjoyed that. So one thing that you can do to get kind of more bang for your buck from your time is stop consuming so much material that doesn't do anything for you and start creating material. There's already enough negativity in the world, right? Try to like create something that's going to make you and other people happier, right? Mm-hmm. Consuming things typically, unless it's feeding you, is going to drain you. Creating things is going to fulfill you, unless you're creating something that you just don't want to do, right? If you're creating something for a boss, then that's probably going to drain you. But if you're creating something from your heart, from your soul, to put it out there into the world, it's going to refill you, and it's going to motivate you, and it's going to help get your ass out of bed to go do the thing. So stop consuming so much television, movies, social media. And that's something like, it's not easy, right? Because we're bombarded with that stuff all the time. And Holly and I are constantly like, okay, like we're kind of whittling away at how much time do we spend on TV? How much time do we spend on social media? Luckily, the devices that we have will tell you, as I knock the camera over, the devices that we have will tell you how much time did you spend on Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, TikTok, whatever the thing might be, right? If you think you're not wasting much time, I'm on there a little bit. I think it's as eye-opening as tracking your food. Go and look, how much time are you actually spending on those things?
Yeah.
So, last thing, those resources, the TV shows, the movies, the social media, how much does that cost you, right? And most people would say, well, it's free. But like, obviously, if you know me at this point, you know where I'm going with this. Like, it costs you your time. And again, time is the only non-renewable resource that we have. So if something costs you $15 or $5,000 or whatever it might be, you can make that money back. But if something costs you 5,000 seconds, you're not getting that time back, right? Mm-hmm. So use your time wisely. Stop telling yourself shitty stories that don't serve you. Prioritize the things that are healthy. And I'll tell you right now, firsthand experience, and I know you can identify with this too, Holly, is that like when you go to make a change, you're going to be getting out of your comfort zone, and you're going to feel like Velcro, like grinding resistance. You're going to want to go back to the things that you're used to because that's your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. And by definition, if you're in your comfort zone, you're comfortable. And by definition, if you're trying to change, you're outside of your comfort zone, you're going to be uncomfortable. The trick again, and we've talked about this a bunch, but the trick again is to just do a small thing. 5 minutes, one step forward, go for a walk, whatever it might be. So, do you have any other?
And just like, especially if, you know, your husband and wife or, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and you want to hold each other accountable or do it together, like Andy and I talked about that. Yep. Like, at night, we're going to keep each other accountable. We're going to ask, you know, what have you put in for the day? Or yep. Were you on social media? Yep. Or, you know, just that helps you both, and you can get through it together, get through the Velcro-ness.
Hold each other accountable, hold each other responsible. And unless she, like, you know, we're literally, I've got a reminder on my phone now to go off at 6 o'clock in the evening. And like, we're going to act like, did you waste any time today? Did you waste any money today? Because those are the things that we're trying to budget. Like right now, time and money. Is every second spent wisely? Is every minute spent wisely? You don't have to be as hardcore as that, but like have that open communication with your significant other. Talk to them. Have, again, honest, like not emotional, but like logical conversation. So nobody gets heated, nobody gets offended, nobody's slamming doors. But like, thankfully, that's never, I don't think that'll ever will happen with us, no. But just, it's never even come close to it. But, yeah, you're just way too, you were entirely too precious to me to do that. I can hear some people going, oh, but, yeah, have that conversation. If that support group is there, do it. If not, I know for me, like before I had Holly and I was trying to get my stuff together, it was kind of that lone wolf mentality where it's just like, I don't care who's going to help me. I'm doing this my damn self. Mm-hmm. So, and that thing is like forever born inside of me now. So no matter what happens, like I'm doing this. And that's, even if she's not on board, like I'm not going to, I've had other people in the past, well, my significant other is just not on board with the healthy meals or not. So what? It doesn't matter. That's not a legitimate excuse. No. So yeah,
none of my family was, and I did it anyway.
Right. Yeah, and like you again, because you told yourself the story of I'm going to eat healthier. Right. I love my grandmother's rolls, or I love peanut butter, whatever it might be, but I'm going to do this. Right. So that's it. It was supposed to be a short episode, 27 minutes. I guess that's shorter than most of them.
Short for us.
Everyone, yes, thank you so much for listening. Episode number 17, which we are recording right after this, but it will come out a couple days later, is going to be about, it's going to be a more practical, applicable one on controlling your blood sugar and why that's important and how that'll help you. So, in a couple ways to do that. So, that is all we have for today's episode number 16, the Time Micronutrient. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. We love every one of you. And again, as always, please share this. Help us get the listens and the plays up. I prioritize your time, put it into action, and just, stop dicking around. So that's what it is. Any words of wisdom?
Time is precious.
Time is precious. Boom. So is she. So are you. Thank you for listening. We love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.